After missing out on LeBron James last week, the Cavs are still looking to make their first major move of the offseason. It appeared that Jonathan Kuminga was in the forefront of the next player they'll add, but in the recent days, and particularly over the weekend, it has been reported by numerous national reporters that the Cavaliers have some serious interest in restricted free agent Peyton Watson from the Denver Nuggets. Now, he's a restricted free agent, which means any offer the Cavs were to make to him could be matched by Denver. But Denver is currently dealing with some major cap restrictions and limitations, and he could be a sign-and-trade candidate, which is how he would end up here in Cleveland.
Mike, how old are the two guys?
They're both young. They both play the same position.
Who's better defensively?
Watson is a better defensive player. He had a better offensive season this most recent year, but over the course of their young careers, both have played 4 or 5 years. Kuminga's been overall the better offensive player. Watson exploded onto the scene this most recent season in Denver, shooting 40% from three on about 3.5 3-pointers per game, which is real value.
Yeah.
He's 6'8", 210 pounds, a versatile defender, high-efficiency player. You do have to take a tiny bit into consideration that he's playing with Jokic, who makes the game so easy for everyone else, which is not a knock against Watson, but just something worth keeping in mind. Kenny Atkinson was an advocate for the Warriors drafting Jonathan Kuminga over Franz Wagner a few years ago. Kuminga's obviously bounced around the league from Golden State, got traded to Atlanta. He's another sign-and-trade candidate. If these were the two options for the Cavs as their big offseason move, it's obviously not LeBron. But in your mind, both are young, both are legitimate wings with real size. Kuminga's listed at 6'7", 220. Watson 6'8", 210. Who would you prefer? And who do you think is a better fit with the rest of the Cleveland Cavaliers?
I mean, I'm probably being a little prisoner of the moment, but I would say Watson's the better choice. Part of it is that Mike says he's a better defender. I didn't know which guy was the better defender. Mm-hmm. He had a better offensive season. I get what you're saying about, could his numbers be misleading a little bit because of Jokic, but did he play significantly more minutes this year than he had in the past?
He played more minutes, just a bigger role.
How many minutes per game did he play compared to Kuminga?
I can pull it up one sec. Hold on.
Because that factors into their scoring. Because you look at his scoring and his shooting was, significantly better than Kuminga this year.
Yeah. I'm looking for a starter. If you tell me I'm looking to pencil in a starter, I'm not looking to do the Max Drew 6'4" small wing type.
Do you think they're both definite starters or not? Not starters?
That's the thing. Like I think what they got right now. I mean, who would have thought? That you talk about, well, they're missing Dean Wade. Good gracious.
Wow.
Dean Wade.
These guys are both better than Dean Wade overall, no?
Yes.
Me, I would take Kuminga because I feel like he's had a better career. He's played with better players, you know what I'm saying? I think he has more athleticism. I would take Kuminga. And maybe you can get something, to unlock some things. But again, we're still talking about unlocking players.
Yeah.
I mean, we got about 7 dudes we need to unlock, which is wild. So I would go by Kuminga, but I wouldn't be salty at either one, Dustin.
So if this were just like a black and white question, like who's a better player or who do you, like it'd be Kuminga. But it's about fit, right? Mm-hmm. And it's about roster fit and how these guys would fit with the Cavaliers. And Kuminga's a guy that can create offense on his own, and that means he's got to have the ball in his hands, and he's going to take a bunch of shots. Like, the Cavs don't have enough. There's only one basketball.
Right, yeah.
And so that's the concern with Kuminga, is that for him to get into a rhythm, he's going to need to take a bunch of shots, and I just don't know that those shots are going to be there for him specifically. So I think that Watson, who's coming off a breakout season, is probably a better fit for this team. He's more of kind of that side piece, not the side piece you're thinking about, Garrett. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think he fits better with Cleveland as opposed to Kuminga just from a team specific fit.
Okay.
Dustin, that was brilliant analysis.
Look at
I could have
that.
said it better myself.
Thank you.
I 100% agree with Dustin. Watson's going to cost a little bit more in terms of the contract they're going to have to give because he's a restricted free agent.
Right.
With Kuminga, they're both going to get between 15 and 20. I think Watson may get a little more.
Does it matter?
I'm thinking 4 for 88 would be the Watson deal. No, it's a minimal difference in terms of that. But to Dustin's point, Kuminga's a guy who offensively is a worse three-point shooter. And I think that fifth person in the starting lineup needs to be a good three-point shooter.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that likes to have the ball in his hands, is an isolation scorer first and foremost. And he's good at it. And it's not necessarily a knock on Kuminga. It's just I don't know how that fits in alongside the other guys that they already have on this roster, Donovan, James, Mobley, and Allen, as opposed to Watson, who's a better slasher than Kuminga is, moves better without the ball, and is a better three-point shooter. Defensively, I think he has more upside. And he's a 6'8", rangy, athletic guy who maybe just had a breakout season. Maybe 2026 was just his breakout year. Everything worked in his favor, shot the ball incredibly well. Or maybe he's just a really good player who needed an increased role to showcase what he can do. I think we've seen Kuminga now on two different teams, have two different coaching staffs say, yeah, we like the potential, but not enough to re-sign him and extend him. Watson's a guy that Denver doesn't want to lose. They just may simply have to lose him because he's gotten too good for them to be able to afford. I think it's a no-brainer. I'd go with Watson.
So Watson's only been on one team?
Watson was a first-round pick by the Nuggets, has only played for the Denver Nuggets.
Kuminga and how many teams has Kuminga been on?
He was a Golden State first-round pick, got traded to Atlanta last season.
Okay.
And Atlanta is now in the
what
process
overall
of
pick
not
was
resigning.
Kuminga now?
I don't remember.
Kuminga was a top 10 pick. He's either 7 or 8.
And then what did you find out the minutes, Mike?
Yeah, Watson this season played 30 minutes a game. He played 24 minutes last year, so not a drastic difference in his overall minutes. He just played better, had more opportunities. And then Jonathan Kuminga last season for Atlanta, and you have to remember, he started the season in Golden State, got traded.
Yeah.
He was playing 24 minutes and then 23 minutes in Atlanta, so fewer minutes.
So the scoring difference.
But it's the way they go about scoring, which is the bigger difference.
Yeah,
Not that Watson's a significantly better scorer. I actually think Kuminga is probably a better overall scorer. Watson was way more efficient last year, and if you're going at the side-by-side between Watson and Kuminga, the one number that stands out is the three-point shooting. That's the difference. Watson's a better three-point shooter than Kuminga.
Right, the points per game don't really matter because Kuminga was playing less minutes.
Exactly. It's the efficiency and how
the shooting percentage, especially on the threes, 8% better. That's a big difference.
And 8% better on basically the same volume, which is a pretty drastic difference. 41%, that is very good in the NBA. 33% where Kuminga is, that's below league average.
The other thing is, like, don't we need a wing defender that can defend the likes of Tatum, Brown?
Yes.
Guys like that.
Can he?
And I think
those guys?
I think Watson can do that. Right?
Watson's a lot closer to being able to do that on a consistent basis than what we've seen from Kuminga thus far. Yes.
Right.
Watson was drafted late first-round pick as a guy coming out of UCLA with a ton of defensive upside. You were hoping his offensive game could develop. Kuminga was the opposite. Ton of offensive upside. Defensively, you were going to live with whatever you got. Watson has developed more offensively, in my opinion, than Kuminga has developed defensively in their short careers.
I was gone when the LeBron thing happened. So it kind of, it's just my little reaction really quickly. And I'll ask you, like, for me, we talked about it in Summer League, Malik Thomas, and being like, okay, we don't know, we had LeBron watch, we had a lot of people, we don't know what guys is going to be here. Now that you lose Dean Wade, you're talking about bringing either Kuminga or Watson. You have some of these Porter Jr., you have some other different players. I mean, does not getting LeBron put Malik Thomas in a position where he might actually get an opportunity in meaningful games if he comes ready to play?
Sure.
I mean, possibly.
You're right. If LeBron was here, there was no chance.
There ain't nothing. But I look, if I'm the Cavs, I'm like, look, bro, I need let's see something, because at the end of the day, like, you got to have somebody step up and score and bring somebody off the bench and do something. And before, it looked like that wasn't an opportunity. It was just you gonna go be with the charge and do your thing. But is there a chance that he could come up and get meaningful minutes if he can hit shots and deliver?
Yeah, if he plays well, he's going to get a shot. There's a ton of guards that he's going to have to outplay to get the right to do that, but Watson and Kuminga would impact Malik Thomas's minutes, in my opinion. It's whether or not are you trading a Max Strus in a sign and trade for one of them? Are you trading a Sam Merrill? Is Craig Porter Jr. involved in one of those deals? And then it comes down to Thomas versus kind of Tyrese Proctor.
Yeah.
Who's further ahead in their development? Who do the Cavs feel more comfortable taking on a bigger role this upcoming season as opposed to what we saw in 25-26?